Duncan back with you. I want to talk about the Adam LaRoche situation in Chicago. My dad, Papa Dunk, was in the big leagues as a catcher for 11 years, and then he coached for another 36, and he was in the big leagues. And I pretty much grew up in a locker room, so I have a strong opinion about this. And a lot of people have been contacting me on Twitter wanting to know what my opinion is about Adam LaRoche retiring. I'm going to attack it like this. I'm going to tell you the negatives and the positives of a child or a kid or a teenager going to the ball field. I'll start with the positives. Number one, you get to spend time with your father. You love your father. He's working extremely hard. He's at the field all day. He's working with pitchers, and in my case with Papa Dunk being a pitching coach. And a lot of time is spent at the field versus at home. So getting a chance to watch Papa Dunk work, seeing how hard he works, and seeing the effort that he puts in, his passion for the game of baseball was something that was probably number one on the list. And I always remember Papa Dunk and how hard he worked. And that's something that helped me develop my work ethic as a player and as a person. And just learning the game of baseball. That's number two for me. I think about all the different great coaches that I was put around as a kid that would take me into the cage and work with me. Guys like Carney Lansford, Greg Luzinski, Mike Easley, the hitman. Just hitting coach after hitting coach. George Hendrick, when Papa Dunk got to St. Louis in 1996. Jim Lefevre. There's just so many different hitting coaches that I got the chance to go into the batting cage with and be able to swing the stick. And just watching great players. I remember in the Oakland days when I had a chance to watch Mark McGwire playing first base, which ended up being the position I played, and he would give me a new glove every year, and I'd break it in, and I'd work at first base. It's something that I'll never forget. Seeing Carney Lansford going for a batting title against Wade Boggs, watching the intensity that he played the game with, watching Walt Weiss and Mike Bordick at shortstop, Mike Gallego, seeing his intensity, watching Terry Steinbach at the catcher position, Ricky Henderson, his speed, how he took leads, Dave Henderson. I could go on and on. When Papa Dunk got to St. Louis, there was times where I'd be at first base taking throws from Ozzie Smith, learning my footwork around the bag. Later on in his career, in around 99, right when I got drafted, got a chance to work with Jose Oquendo. Stuff like that is unforgettable. And stuff like that is what helped me become a big league player. It helped me get drafted out of high school. The experience of being around the major league game and major league players, watching their preparation and watching how they attacked the game of baseball was something I'll never forget. It's a special moment for a kid of a ball player or a coach. And it's incredible. I learned how to throw a curveball from Carlos Reyes. I don't know if you've heard of him. He was with Oakland for a while. Great breaking ball. There was times where Papa Dunk's working and I'm out there flipping curveballs with Carlos Reyes. And that was a pitch I used all through high school. It was probably my best pitch. That's something I'll never forget. Dave Stewart teaching me and my brother split fingers. He took that split finger into high school games and dominated, went to college, used it at U of A. He'd come in and close, and he's got this split finger no one's ever seen. That was a huge plus. Traveling with the team, learning how to be a grown-up, learning how to be a man, watching other men go out there that were successful pros and how they would prepare for games, their work ethic and their preparation was something that taught me what it took to get to that level. And stuff like that you can't learn anywhere else. And I hate how people try to compare baseball to another job. It's not another job. It's not like going to a business meeting with your dad wearing a suit. This is different. This is a game. This is a game that some grown men get to play for a living. And I think the experience a kid can have at the ballpark is something that's unreal. And those are the big positives. Those are the big positives. And a lot of players in Oakland would bring their kids to the field. But then it can turn negative at times. I remember one year when Papa Dunk was in Oakland, a lot of kids were coming to the field. Ron Hassey had his son Brad that would come to the field. Me and my brother would come to the field. Carney Lansford's kids would come to the field at times. Mike Gallego's kids, Rick Honeycutt. And pretty soon it turned into this thing where there was a bunch of kids out there shagging, and some people got irritated. And I remember someone complained to the GM, Sandy Alderson, and pretty soon they told us we couldn't go out there anymore that season. It was bothersome to a couple of players. You know, one player brings his son and he might be respectable of the other players, but maybe when all the other players bring their sons, if they're not respectable and they don't give the players their space, it can become an issue. For example, one time with me, I was shagging out in the outfield and I had no clue, and Ricky Henderson was taking balls off the bat and fly balls hit to him, and I took off full speed and I dove and I caught it right in front of him. Throws his hands up. What's this kid doing? I'm trying to take balls off the bat, and I got, the coach's son diving in front of me. That could be a problem. Another time, Dennis Eckersley's in the locker room. He's getting prepared for a game. Had his routine. His routine was incredible. Me and my brother get in a fight. We're wrestling. We're not paying attention to what's going on in the game. It's probably the 7th inning. He's getting ready to make his walk down to the bullpen because they have a 2 or 3 run lead. I can't remember what it was. All of a sudden, we get in this huge fight. We're rolling around in the locker room, and Dennis Eckersley throws his hands up. What are these kids doing? Why are they in the locker room? This is ridiculous. I'm trying to get prepped to go out there and make a save in a crucial game late in the season, and we got these kids rolling around. He blew up at the club. He caused a big incident, and it was a big negative. It was something that probably shouldn't have happened. So, just the fact that some players out of the 25-man roster might get irritated and the kids might become a distraction is something you have to respect. And just because LaRoche's kid is respectful of the players, if other players see LaRoche's son coming to the field on a daily basis and they decide to bring their kids and then all of a sudden it gets too loose, it could be an issue. So I see it from both sides. But I'll tell you one thing. I think it's pretty neat that he brings his son to the field. Now, on an everyday basis, I don't know if that's too smart. It could be a little too much. I know that Papa Dunk tried to bring us as much as possible, but there was times where we would have to stay home depending on what was going on. So those are two sides of it. If you want to bring your son, it could be very positive for him, and it can affect the rest of his life because of that type of experience that you get in that moment every day that you're there and what you can learn from true pro baseball players. And there's also some negatives. You got to be respectful if you go to the field. So those are my takes on this whole situation, and think what you think.